Today in Test Ride, we're going to take a look at one of the industry's most underappreciated mid-size ATVs, Polaris' Sportsman 400 HO. Since its release in the Hawkeye chassis, the Sportsman 400 has been pigeonholed as a woman's ATV or an ATV for smaller riders. Few, if any, larger adults, particularly men, even gave it a second glance. And as a person who not only gets to ride all different ATVs, but one who has to ride them, like it or not, I've spent a lot of time on this bike. I can honestly say it's a real shame that this ATV in this chassis has never been given a fair shake, because it is extremely capable. On the other hand, its size can be an issue for a bigger rider like me. The Sportsman 400 name would suggest a 400cc engine, but in actuality, Polaris snuck an extra 55cc's in there and threw the HO label on the side. This engine, in this lightweight chassis, is surprisingly potent and in no way boring. Combine the torquey mill with Polaris' legendary true shiftable 4x4 system, and you've got a combination fully capable of any situation. This Hawkeye chassis was first introduced with a 300cc engine as an ultra-budget model, but quickly became home to the 400cc engine as well. Basically, this chassis is just like a downsized version of a full-size Sportsman. McPherson struts up front yield a more than adequate 7 inches of travel and provide legendary Sportsman handling. Out back, a double A-arm independent suspension setup allows for a solid 8 inches of travel and produces a whopping 9 inches of ground clearance. All this out of what's classified as a mid-size ATV. Other features like plastic racks, digital gauge, and standard size hitch receiver are similar to those found on full-size Polaris ATVs. A quick look at the dimensions of this bike reveals that a larger rider simply won't fit that well, but smaller riders love it. If size matters to some, then I think the lack of size will matter just as much to others. Which is what makes this bike so attractive for a smaller rider or a woman. The Sportsman 400 is easy to ride, control, and handle. It's light, it's not overly powerful, but it will go everywhere you could possibly need to go, and it looks good while doing it. Fresh style, high quality fit and finish of all the components leave 400 riders with a top-of-the-line feel. Features like single lever braking, 24-inch tires, and a large under-rack storage up front leave nothing lacking compared to other mid-size bikes. I feel bad suggesting there are things about this bike I don't like, because simply put, I'm not the right guy to be riding this bike. What I think is fair is to pass along some of the impressions given to us by our smaller test riders, impressions that are overwhelmingly positive.
Whenever I get a chance to get out of the office and go out riding, I really enjoy taking the Sportsman 400. This ATV is perfect for me. Because of its smaller size, my feet sit flat on the floorboards, and I don't need to reach for the handlebars. Maneuvering this ATV is much more comfortable than other larger ATVs, and this makes my riding experience a lot more enjoyable. The power of the Sportsman 400 really allows me to keep up with the rest of the pack on rail beds or fire roads. But at the same time, its power is not intimidating because of its smaller size.
Throttle pull is light, steering is easy, suspension is soft and compliant, power is more than adequate, and smaller riders love it. So what's the downside to this ATV? Simply put, if no one buys it, Polaris can't continue to build it. And while smaller, lighter riders everywhere have claimed this bike as their own, there simply aren't enough for them to justify a dedicated chassis just for the Sportsman 400. Which is why if you're thinking a Sportsman 400 might be the bike for you or someone you ride with, I suggest getting yours ASAP. Because as you already know, in 2011, this little Sportsman is all grown up.